Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Martyna, and today I want to do something that I've wanted to make for a long time, but I don't think I've ever made one of those, and this is going to be a no-sew junk journal. So basically a junk journal made out of pages that you do not have to sew in or bind into your cover, to your spine. And there are a few ways of making these, and the way that I would like to attempt it is to do this accordion sort of style, like concertina folded junk journal, which I've seen a lot of creators make, and I just really always wanted to try one of those. Now this is just a base, this is not the colors or patterns that I am going to go for this journal. But basically what I did here is I had those 4x6 inches journaling cards from a very old Project Life kit that I got many years ago, and these aren't my style anymore. They used to be, I loved them, they aren't anymore, and I just know that I am not going to use them otherwise. And so what I did is I joined some of those cards, as you can see here, with washi tape on both sides, actually, just to make it more sturdy, and just folded it like that. So one page goes that, and then the other goes down and up and down, and you know you know what I mean. This is just your classic concertina fold. And so this is going to be a base of my junk journal. Now this is going to be a bit of a trial and error. Like I said, I don't have experience making these, so my plan is I want to first use some bigger pieces of collage papers, and I will show you what I have here in just a second, but some bigger piece to cover all of those journaling cards and to give myself a nice and neutral background for then working on those pages. And then one of those sides on the end is going to be my front cover. The other one is going to be, well, I guess a front cover for the back, because then we can turn it around and go like that, which is super fun. So I think I am going to decorate at least one of those today. That's the plan. And yeah, and we will see what we can come up with. Now I have no idea how many pages I should have. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 journaling cards, 9 4x6 journaling cards, which gives me like 1, 2, 3, 4 spreads here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So how about I move this? So this is basically some of my collage papers, which I will show you guys soon, because this is what I would like to use to decorate those pages. But maybe I will actually add one more so I can show you on camera how I do it. So I have this pack of journaling cards, 1 or 2, well, you will see. And I basically just use some washi tape put it almost all the way down on the card. Now again, all of this is going to be covered up, so for this I wouldn't choose perhaps any like journaling cards or papers or washi tape that you actually really love, because the way I'm going to do it, I am not going to see any of that. So I am then just making sure that this is stuck properly. And to reinforce it, I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And when I collage with my bigger like pieces, collage pieces, I am going to want to, let me fold this, I am going to want to focus also on those spots where the pages are joined, just to reinforce them, because I don't really trust this washi tape or any washi tape to hold anything securely. But let's see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spreads here. Oh, I see why I did that, because then, oh, I could turn it upside down and I would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But do I want to turn it upside down, and will it bother me if when I go to the back page it kind of opens like that? No, I don't think it's going to bother me, to be honest. But I just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I just want to kind of have a similar or the same number of pages on both sides. Now, again, I don't know if this is too much or too little. And what I love about this type of journal is I really can just keep adding to it as I work through it. So if I decide that I love it so much and I just want to keep going, then I will add more pages. But basically, so I have 10 journaling cards as my base. And now for the collage papers, let me bring them back here. So this is just some tape, but yeah, I have book pages, and some of those we decorated like with paint and stamping on a video previously. So I have a lot of different book pages. I have brown paper, some doilies, although I'm not sure I'm going to be using them in this step, in like just the basic covering. More book pages like that, and then I have some this is a jelly plate printed paper. Then I have some brown paper, packaging paper, which I use as sort of like a cleaning palette for my brush or my brayer, or I would put it underneath when I was splattering. So I have a few of those, and I think they would look really nice, just pieces of this with some book pages, some actual jelly plate prints, different colors, although I think I will stick with neutrals for this step, just because I don't yet know what I am going to want to put on the pages. So I don't want to sort of impose any color scheme at this point yet. Some crinkly pages, more jelly plate printing, crinkly pages. This is just regular copy paper which I sprayed with coffee. There's a lot here. More jelly plate prints, different colors, different mix of patterns. This, I believe, yeah, this is baking paper, which I use some gesso and coffee and splatters and stamps on. And I really like, again, how crinkly it gets. Then I have this digital page. I'm not sure who this is by, but I splattered some coffee, and because I printed it on inkjet printer, the ink kind of flowed a little bit, which I really love. Some scrap piece of paper, some packaging, which I also just used probably as a I would layer some pieces on it and spray them with coffee. Some modeling paste. Oh, I love this one. More scrap pieces of paper, book pages, more digitals. These are mine. Again, just sprayed them with coffee. And so there is that pile. And then I also have some piles in those page protectors because I was drowning in papers, so some of those I put in page protectors. But this little pile here is some vellums, some printed vellums, some sprayed vellums, so maybe not for this part because I don't want to put something translucent, transparent on my base here, because the goal is to cover up those patterns that I am not a fan of. So that maybe I will put to the side. Then I have some just random like pages, I would say, where you could collage on some graph paper, probably vintage looking at it, and some recycled paper. And then I have more book pages. This time these are not sprayed with anything, they are just as they are, and they are so pretty. So those pieces of text, or maybe even a little bit of the illustrations, would be so nice to use in this project. Also, these are quite thick. I love how thick they are, and I think they are going to be quite sturdy. So when I fold this back and forth, I don't think they are going to tear. Some map pages, some more large illustrations, music paper, and then more. I think both of these page protectors just have book pages in them, so I'm definitely going to be using some of those. So this is a nice idea for just using up some of the bigger paper scraps and covering larger spaces, which I am looking forward to, because as you can see I have a lot of them. So let's maybe pick some. Oh, I love those sketches. Let's maybe pick some book pages just to start with. I think I'm going to maybe go with this. This is again quite thick and sturdy, and I like the cream color here. Oh, maybe we could also use bits and pieces of that. Then I have some pages like that. These were probably I probably had them in some journal, but as you guys may know from my journal flip through video, I use too many pages in my journals, so I just really usually end up taking some of them out. Then more book pages. This one I can try to use. This is a beautiful color old page from a French book, and I'm saying I can try to use it because it's quite brittle, so I don't know about this one. Maybe something like that. Again, like those little tiny illustrations are so gorgeous, but what I want to remember while covering this up is that this is just going to serve as a base for what I then add to the pages. So there is a high possibility that I am going to cover up a lot of what we put on the pages today, but that's fine. That's part of collaging, of just beautiful Edith Holden. Oh, I have some very cute, I believe this is Chinese English dictionary, so let's have that as well. I love different colors of papers when it comes to my vintage book pages, so I'm also focusing a little bit on that. And also different fonts like this here. This is a bit of a typewriter font. I'm probably pulling way too much papers, which is fine. Music paper. Okay, and I think we should be good when it comes to book pages. And then as for the other, maybe the painty papers, I think I would like to have at least one of those, which is just copy paper sprayed with coffee. And then perhaps one of those, which is brown paper with all the different things here. Now, these are quite colorful. Oh, this is a nice thick page. Maybe I could use that too. This is again from an Edith Holden book, and I added some modeling paste and some probably inks, something like that here. And do I want any of those painted pages? You know what? Let's try a couple. And maybe let's stick to one color scheme, which would be neutrals and maybe a little bit of pink here and there. I'm going to put this aside, but if I decide that I need something more, I can always come back to it. And so because I still feel very rusty and unsure when it comes to my creativity, I think I'm going to start with what seems easy to me at this point, which is just tearing pieces of paper and gluing them on those pages. And I will start from kind of from the middle, because I don't want the pressure of starting with the cover, with the first page. Okay, and I have some glue sticks and wet glue here. Let's see what we can make with those. So this, I'm hoping, is going to be very relaxing, and also, like I said, such a good way to use a lot of those collage papers, those larger bits and pieces that I'm sure a lot of us hoard in our stash. And okay, and I am going to put it here, so I will just add glue here on where those pages are joined, just to make sure I have enough of adhesive here. And yeah, our first piece is down. So how about perhaps maybe this? This would be nice. There's an illustration on the back. But first of all, I have so many illustrated beautiful book pages that I don't need to keep each one of them. I love this text a lot, so I think that's what I'm going to use for this. But also, this illustration is printed. Oh, this glue is done. Good thing I have another one. Yes, this illustration is quite, I don't know, it's printed weird. It's as if it's out of focus. So I'm more than okay to covering it up and just using the beautiful text. So how are you guys? How is everyone? What are you currently working on? Have you ever made a no-sew journal? Or maybe even this particular type, this accordion type journal? I would love to know. I am very excited about this, and I'm looking forward to finding all of the different ways to decorate it and add. I definitely, because I don't have to worry about I think so. I mean, I would imagine that I don't have to worry about it bulking up and becoming an alligator mouth, because each page kind of just folds once on itself, so I don't have a spine which is not going to be able to fit a lot of flips and interactive elements. But yes, that's what I definitely would like to try to add to these pages. Maybe like this. And I'm also at this point not worried if something is sticking out of like any of the borders of my pages, because I can either even it up with my scissors, or I can leave it like that and have a bit of texture on the sides of my journal. Okay, so maybe let me move this way, since I said I didn't want to work in the sort of front pages. Maybe a piece of this. This is so pretty. I love this combination of brown and pink and gold. So I definitely will want to make more of those painty book pages, because I have a lot of book pages, so not all of them have to be, you know, in the condition that they come in the book. You can definitely alter some of them and make them even more interesting. So today is actually an unusually hot day here in Poland, or at least where I am. We have 31 degrees Celsius, which is, it's just for almost fall, because it's almost fall when I am filming this video. Not yet fall, but almost. It's just too much. It is definitely too much. How about some of this? Maybe a little less. Maybe a piece like this. And I am really interested to see how it will look like when I fold the pages. What pieces are going to end up on what pages, because I'm not going to be folding it until I'm quite sure that the glue is dry, because I don't want any warping, any of these pages to lift up. This is quite a thin paper. I can see a little bit of the patterns behind it, but because this is pink, it kind of matches this here, and I can see, I don't know if the camera is picking it up, but I can see a little bit of the text here and a little bit of the edge of this paper, so I actually quite like it. Maybe this one here. Which side do I? This one. Okay. So yes, so first just covering up with the biggest pieces, and this is also how I really like to do any collaging. When I am collaging bigger pieces like collage masterboards or any pieces of ephemera, that's how I really like to do it, which is, I'm actually tempted to use some of those, which is to start with the biggest pieces. Oh yeah, that's pretty. Do I want to cover that much? Let's see, maybe we can move further and then use something smaller here. Yeah, let's do that. I love to start with the biggest pieces to cover up my pages as quickly as possible and to give myself a neutral background to work on, and then I build on with smaller pieces and then smaller, and at the end just adding the smallest little details. And I found that this really works for me and creates cohesive pieces. Beautiful. Now maybe a little bit of this illustration, so perhaps just tear the edge slightly, or no, I like it. Okay, some of those pages, when I fold them, they may be a little bit too busy for me when I go to this page to work on it and add to it, but then we'll just figure out ways to make it less so. Oops, somehow like that. And then what else do we have? What else do we have? Do I have any maybe more blank pieces? I have a lot of book pages actually in this container. I have some of those. These are piano paper, those kind of rolls, so maybe I could use some of those, and or maybe some printables. This is like a vintage ledger printable. I just want to add some sort of breathing space between all the patterns, but this is my box of rather small scraps, so this one we will be going back to work on the pages, but for now, is this going to be, this might be too sort of see-through, but maybe like this. I can see through it a little bit, but I don't mind this pattern and the grid. I just don't want the washi now. I'm not sure which side would be best to glue. I hope this will hold because there is a little bit of like gloss on this side, but then I would prefer to have the matte side where my actual journaling will go. Oh, I like that I can see some grid behind it. It adds a really nice texture. Is this going to fit here? Yeah, it is. Or maybe I prefer this side actually. It's a bit more interesting. And for the cover, for the front cover, because I think I'm going to work on one front cover only today, I found this, and I will show you guys. I found this very cute and pretty little atlas of roses. It's actually a Polish book, a Mały Atlas Róż, and I got it years ago at a flea market, and so I think it would be really nice to use it, to use some of the images, well, one of the images, because these roses are quite big, but I think they would be perfect for a journal cover this big. I don't know what the size actually is. I mean, I know this is 4x6, but in like notebook nomenclature, is this a 6 perhaps, or something close to it? I think so. So yes, I started saying that it's an unusually hot day for us when it's almost maybe like this, yeah, when it's almost fall. I am really hoping it's going to be the last day like this, because I cannot do this anymore. I am just so fed up with summer, with heat. Oh, I have some green. No, I think I'm going to go for pink here, maybe like this. I like it. So again, you can see I am already covering up some of the pieces that I've put down first, which is completely fine. This is all just part of the process. And I can tell you guys that this is actually just so relaxing. I was very nervous before turning on my camera and starting filming, because as you may know, I had a bit of a long break. Oh, I love that there is some I think this is a pencil note on the background. But yeah, I have had quite a long break from filming videos. Can I start folding these? So this would go like this, and this would have to go somewhat like this. If I don't do it perfectly, I'm fine with that. This is a junk journal. It doesn't have to be perfect at all, but I think I am kind of going where my washi tape lines were. So here is what we have so far. Oh, I love this. Love the spreads. Okay, I am getting really excited about that. Let's proceed. I think I'm just going to take a sip of water. So I was quite nervous before turning on my camera, because I haven't filmed in such a long time. And also I haven't really done this type of crafting. I did a lot of journaling in this time, junk journaling, and also some just creative daily journaling in my like notebooks and journals and all that. But I haven't made, have I made any journals this past year? I don't think I did. So not only am I excited, I'm also a little bit stressed, but this is definitely helping me relax, just playing with paper and mixing and matching all the different patterns. There is something definitely therapeutic about this process. Okay, maybe some of this. this way or this way, and then we would put something. Maybe let me make it a little bit shorter, because I want those pieces of papers to either firmly go over where the pages are going to fold or not go over that at all. Because if I only have like a little bit like this, I'm afraid those bits would start lifting very quickly. I also am not convinced glue stick is the way to go here, but because I'm using some vintage papers and some more delicate papers, thinner papers, I don't want to risk using wet glue, because I think it would just seep through and I would have those unattractive markings. Do I want this, or maybe actually some text? Oh, yeah, let's go for this. So we will have a little bit of this image here and then a couple of pages later. Yes, I like this. And some of the edges I'm leaving straight, some of them I want torn. Again, this is just one big experiment, but I think something nice will come out of it. Or at least, you know, that's the hope. Okay, again, I hope I am in frame. Let me just make sure. Maybe I will fold this end a little bit more. Okay, that should be fine. Again, I will have, I do have a little bit of ghosting with those letters, but because it's so muted and because this is such a nice cream paper, I don't mind it. I can't read it. I can't see the color, which maybe wouldn't look that nice here anyway. Okay, we haven't had a piece of this in a while, so I'm thinking let's add brown paper. Now, a nice thing also about this is that if I get to a page and I have some idea for it, but the papers that I've put, or maybe the colors, just don't match my idea, I can just cover everything up, but I don't have to start with a blank page, which is really nice for me. Okay, again, let's not go over the fold here. We're almost done, you guys. I definitely think that I'm going to make this first side only in this video. Oh, I haven't yet used the dictionary, so maybe that would be a good... Again, this is quite sheer, so I don't think I want it where I can see the washi tape. But maybe a smaller bit somewhere. Maybe on this page, so let's wait a little bit. I'm thinking... I started saying something and now I completely forgot. What did I want to... Oh, my fingers are completely covered with gold from this sample page. What did I want to say, you guys? I don't even remember. I've had some, maybe, do I want to introduce green or do I want to stick with, maybe upside down? Stick with, well, I actually like this green. And I love the, again, the underlined bits and the notes on the margins. I'm not sure why I made those papers double-sided. Probably I was meaning to use some of them as like actual journal pages. Just fold them in half and bind them to a journal. But that's fine. That's fine as well. I have more, so I can use up some of, although those flowers are quite gorgeous. They were from, I believe, a stencil and watercolor. I think so. I don't want to cover too much of this, so maybe let me just use a bit of that. Yes. Oh yeah, I think I was saying that I'm only going to be making the first side, so the reverse, either I will do off camera or we will do together in another video. Maybe this way for some, although I do love this gold. Let me put it here just for additional interest. And I'm going to use some small scrap for just little, although I guess I could, you know what, I could actually leave it like this. This is just some nice grit paper. Let's try to leave it and we will see what we want to do with it when we get to this page. How about using this here? Love it. And I still want to at least attempt to make the front cover of this journal today. And I don't have any idea what to do. Like I said, I have my little book of roses, little atlas of roses. So this is what I'm going to start with. But if it will actually, maybe this way, end up being on the final page, I do not know. We have to wait and see. How about this piece? And those small scraps I'm of course saving, and I will have them added to my small scraps box, so we can slightly more, so we can use them when we get to decorating these pages. Oh yes, I just wanted to preserve these wildflowers. Again, it may very well be covered up when we work on this page, but maybe not. Maybe it will not be. Actually, I think this page, is it going to be the back cover? No, I don't think so. Like that, and maybe a small piece, because I do love this pink. A small piece here. Yes, I absolutely love this. So it definitely helped to pick out some of the pages that I want to use beforehand, so I don't have to go through my whole stash every time I want a new piece. But as you can see, I definitely did not use all of those that I've picked. Wait, how did I want it? Like this perhaps. I definitely didn't use some of those pages that I picked, and that's fine too. So here's what we have so far. I think this looks so fun. Now let's work on the beginning bits here. Let's make them a little bit more interesting. Okay, I do think I am embracing this pink. So how about, this is so hard to, I don't want to fold those last pages yet because the glue is not yet dried. So this is a little bit hard to maneuver on my desk, but we will manage somehow. So I don't have like I'm filming this with my phone, and I don't have, like I don't see where my general area is. So I definitely hope that everything that I am doing is on screen for you guys. Again, I apologize for any like mistakes, any awkwardness in filming, any technical difficulties. I haven't done this in a while, and I do feel a little bit out of sorts. Maybe this. Like that. Now, what else would I want? I do really like how this piano paper looks. So could I perhaps add a smaller bit somewhere here? Maybe this way. Or maybe here. Yeah, I think there. It just adds such an interesting different texture. Or maybe, you know what, let's do it this way. Because I love this edge, but this one I'm going to cover up with something else. Maybe a little bit of brown paper. Yeah, I think so. I do like it. Maybe like that, slightly higher. Yes. And then we just have one last tiny piece to cover up here. Am I in frame? Yes, I think I am. To cover up here, and then we can try to figure out the front cover situation. Okay, love it. Some text like this, maybe not something with text, because I have text here and here, unless again trying out the dictionary. How about this? I think I'm going to do it just a little bit less. Oh no, now I have too little. Okay, change of plans. Let's go with this. Oh, I like this. I like this little piece which says, oh my fingers are so gluey, which says wild. I just don't want to cover up too much of this flower. So let's go for that. Okay, something like that. Alrighty, so we've done all of this. Still, I'm probably going to have to cut those edges to size, because this is, if I want my journal to stand on a bookshelf, it's not going to be able to stand on this. But basically, this is what we have, and I honestly love it. This was so much fun to do. So now, what about this front page? Let me first cut off the edges here, so I know what I'm working with. I'm going to have to fold it in a moment, because this is getting a bit hard to work with. On my desk like this. So let me actually try to fold these pages. I think everything should be more or less glued down, and I will give you guys a quick flip through of what we have so far. Okay, I love how chunky this is already getting, and yet no alligator mouth because there is no spine. So yeah, so far some of those papers are sticking out. I'm probably going to cut them off, but this is the pages that we have so far. And oh, I love them. This is going to be so fun to work on. Love it. So the front cover, how do I do it? What do I do? Let's first try to pick maybe an image to go on this cover, and this is the book that I mentioned, A Small Atlas of Roses. It's so cute. I already used a lot of those illustrations, but they are very pretty. What do I have here actually? Oh, this one is very pretty. This one is gorgeous, but would be a pain to cut out. This one, although I'm looking for maybe something with like a bit of warmer colors. Let me just see. Yeah, so I think the size of this one would look just perfectly here. Now, do I actually want to fussy cut it? I think so, because I would like to have something, maybe something slightly less busy. Let me just try it, you know. And I'm going to fussy cut it with a slight white edge. Well, it's not white, it's kind of cream, because whatever I put my gluey scissors. Whatever I put on the background, I want this flower to stand out from it. So just leaving a little bit of a margin. And as always, I love to fussy cut with my giant scissors because I don't have to move them a lot. Like, I don't have to do this movement a lot because they are so large. And so with one movement like that, I can cut a lot, which is nice. This is such a pretty flower. I think I found this book on the very first flea market that I went to when I first started doing junk journaling, and I was getting into all of those vintage books and flower illustrations, and so I was so happy to have found it. I'm pretty sure from the same seller I got a small atlas of birds, which is a very similar concept, just beautiful illustrations of birds, and I've used the images from that one quite a lot too. They are significantly easier to fussy cut though, that I have to admit. Although this flower is not bad, there's not that many details, and I definitely prefer to move my paper than my scissors when I'm cutting. It's so much easier this way. Yeah, it fits perfectly. So you know what, I think I'm going to glue down. Let's do it this way, so I can go again over the fold of the page. I'm going to glue down this piece of brown paper, and then perhaps do some smaller collage bits beneath the flower to make it more interesting. But I definitely want to start with a bit of a bigger surface to work on. Bigger surface, I mean covered surface. Let's first cut around those edges. Now I just need to make sure that the paper edges have enough glue on them and they will stay where I want them to stay. Ooh, maybe I could actually do some machine stitching or hand stitching on this cover. That could also be a nice idea. So my rose is here, and I have some like rose stencil peeking out through here, which is also nice. and I can just see the little ridge that is going to be the sort of the end of the page. Okay, so where could I add some collagey bits? Maybe here. This is quite a plain bit. So let me pick a fragment of a book page that has some pink on it. Maybe like that. Oh, this is very pretty. Perhaps just a piece of this one for a bit of a different texture. It's also nice and crumpled. It just peeks through here, just a tiniest little bit, and maybe I will have the rest of it maybe like here. This could go over the edge of the other page actually. And let me grab a piece of book page again, the same book page, so I don't add more patterns. Maybe something along these lines. Actually, I am just going to start gluing these pieces down before I put too many things and start questioning my choices. So this one is going to go somewhere here, and then maybe I actually prefer this one on top, so I see a little bit of this edge. So let's start with the book page first. And then the piece of the piano paper. Yes, I like it. It's also like semi-translucent, so I could see a little bit of the text peeking through. Oh, I really, really like it. And then I was thinking, I also have, well, do I want any other scraps? How about some music paper? So again, I'm kind of going for similar papers that I already have on the pages. So this all looks, what's the word? Cohesive. Cohesive is the word. Maybe like this. Again, this here is going to fold. So this is the edge of my page. So I want to make sure that I keep it in mind when I am placing those little bits. Like that. Is it going to be visible? Yes. Yes, it is. And I was also thinking, I have some of this sellotape that I used alcohol inks on. And maybe I could use small pieces of that. Why isn't it sticking? Oh no, I just crumpled my piece of tape, but that's fine, it should be fine. I maybe could use a little bit, oh, I like it crumpled actually, happy accident. So the other one could go somewhere here. Now I didn't have the you know, the small tape. I only had like a very wide tape, so that's why these pieces are so wonky, because I very wonkily cut them from a large roll. But I actually think it turned out nice. Oh, this is pretty, because I have all of the different shapes. Okay, I need to fold this down now because this is distracting me a little bit. Oh, this music paper does not want to stay glued at all. Let me just make sure it will stay this time. And I'm also, perhaps while this is drying, let me turn this around, and I will actually very quickly cut around these edges, at least the bottom edge, because again, I just want to probably cutting into the paper a little bit, but that's fine. I just want to see the surface that I have to work with more clearly. Now this tape is already peeling up. Of course, when we get to this side, we will be covering it up. But for now, let's just add glue so it stays. Okay, how is the cover looking? Lovely. I do love how it looks. Let's see with the rose. Oh, this is very pretty. This is actually very pretty. Now I'm thinking, what would I like to do with the edges? I could do some hand stitching, then of course it would be visible on this page as well, but I think that's fine. But I really would like to just do something to the very edge of maybe here and maybe a little bit here. Do I have anything to do that with? I have some embroidery threads. Oh my goodness, my fingers. So I have this very dark brown, or I have a green one. I think maybe a pink would be nice, because this journal does have a lot of pink. Let me just, let me look. I know I had, so I have these colors, but I know I had some pink somewhere. Let me just look for it. Okay, so I glued the rose down. I apologize for finishing this off camera, but I think I was getting a little bit dehydrated. Sitting here in my very, very hot craft room. But the only things that I did off camera were I did some very wonky stitching, hand stitching. So this is what it looks on this side. And I like that it adds a little bit of texture here as well. I had just this piece of scrap piece of lace, which I cut two smaller pieces off and just glued it in two places here just to add some more texture. And then I, of course, glued down the rose. And so here is how the cover looks. And here is our, well, first side of our no-sew journal. I am so happy and so excited to just work with these pages and see what we can come up with, and of course decorate the other side. I think maybe we will do some craft therapy video. So in this one I was more like sharing my tips for making this, I guess, and and just my plans. But since you guys now know what I'm doing with this, I think a nice relaxing craft therapy for just gluing paper on the other side of this would be very, very nice. And also one more thing that I think, should I do it now? No, I don't think so. I'm quite tired. But one more thing that I may do is, actually, let me see, where's the scrap that said wild? Because maybe I could add it somewhere, like wild flowers, wild nature, because what I was thinking of, maybe adding a metal book plate here and adding something inside, like a title for this journal, something like that. I like it, but it's a bit, because it's translucent. Let me just give it a try, you guys. So yes, so I was more than ready to finish up filming, but I'm going to glue this down on a white piece of paper, because then it's not going to be so like semi-transparent, and I'm going to see a bit more of this color. Then I'm going to tear around. Maybe on the bottom of the scrap as well. Perhaps we could, oh yes, I think that's much better. I just need to find the best place on this cover for it. Perhaps to make it stand out a little bit more, let me just ink the edges with my vintage photo distress oxide. And do I perhaps want a tiny bit of lace? With these projects, it never ends. You can add and just keep building your layers, and that's what I really love about this craft. How about something like this? Or perhaps I am drawn to this spot somehow. This would also, or maybe a bit higher, because then I would also have 3 pieces of this. Yeah, I think I'm going to do it, of this lace. So I think this is the left side or the back side. So I'm going to glue it down here. I really like the different texture and the different sorts of dimension that this lace adds, because it's more raised than all of the papery bits that I have, maybe with the same glue, that I have already on the background. Perhaps like this. Okay, I think now it's complete. I think now it's complete, and I call it complete for now. If I have an idea what to add to it, or if I want to add, oh no, you know what, you guys, I had an idea. I think I have to do it. So I have this gold gilding wax, gilding paste. You guys know this. I think I'm going to add some gilding to the edges, because gold paste or wax looks so incredibly pretty on brown paper, because it stands out so much. like I said, it never ends. You can keep adding and adding. And at some point, I guess, you just have to tell yourself, that's enough. And I think that's this point for me. Yeah, now it's complete. Oh, look at this. This is what it was missing, I think. I love it. Okay. So, thank you so much for crafting with me. This was a long video. If you are still here, thank you so much for watching. I am very much looking forward to working in this journal with you guys. So please do subscribe if you are not subscribed yet. And I will see you guys very, very soon in the next video. Bye!